Welcome to Detroit's Darkest Times. This segment is What Will It Take to Recover Jimmy Hoffa's Remains from the Detroit Renaissance Center? How much effort does someone need to put in to get the authorities to check this situation out? We're kind of confused here at Detroit's Darkest Times why the authorities are hesitating to go to the Renaissance Center to recover Jimmy Hoffa's remains. So what will it take? Will it take a court order? Will it take an eyewitness? Will it take testimony from Jimmy Hoffa's old driver? Will it take Michael Yarborough because he was the eyewitness? What does it take to recover a body? And what's all the hesitation about? Michael Yarborough, he's reported it. He's made visits. He's called. He's made a lot of appearances on podcasters. And he just don't understand why he can't get nothing done about this. So it just leaves you to the point of wondering what does the people need to do as a whole to get the authorities to check this situation out, you know. So at Detroit's Darkest Times, we're pulling for Michael Yarborough on his mission to recover Jimmy Hoffa's remains, possibly others. So hopefully he could get maybe some kind of court order for them not to tear the Renaissance down until they retrieve these bodies. A body or other bodies. It seems like, with somebody being an eyewitness to something as drastic as a murder and a burial, that the authorities would go check this out. So if they're not willing to do it in Detroit, I guess they're going to need some people from the outside to come in and show them how it's done, So we're trying to push this as much as possible, because with somebody being an eyewitness, it's just hard to say, you ain't going to do anything about it. Or you need more evidence and stuff like that. I mean, as far as I know, Michael Yarborough, from his words, he's done everything that he can do except dig for the body to prove to the authorities that Jimmy Hoffa is at the Renaissance Center. So it may take somebody high up in government, to get this done, or it may just take some outsiders outside of Detroit to make this thing happen. Because if they're not willing to go check out what Michael Yarborough's saying, just say, for instance, they don't believe what he's saying. I mean, it's the same as investigating a murder and stuff like that. You know how they do the timeline from when Jimmy Hoffa left the Red Fox restaurant on Telegraph Road. All they got to do is do the timeline of how long it would take to get from there to the Renaissance Center. Traffic or no traffic. So you're going to have different timelines, but it ain't going to be that big of a difference. And then the time that Michael Yarborough said he showed up at the Renaissance Center, going to, on the day of, going to apply for a security job. That timeline is really important to the story. But now, I'm sure Michael Yarborough maybe remembers around about the time, because you're talking a long time ago. But then who knows? He might have around about the exact time he was down here. So that being said, that's a little piece of the puzzle right there. But from what Michael Yarborough's saying, he's been working really hard on trying to make this happen. And he's got a few people on board with him. And we're basically just trying to help push this with him, because we're curious at Detroit's Darkest Times. We want to know what the situation is. And I never seen where there would be an eyewitness to a crime and then the authorities not follow up on it. So it's just kind of confusing. But eventually, somebody's going to break, and then they're going to do something about it. Whether it is to find out or to debunk, one of the two, you still should check this out when you got an eyewitness. So hopefully this takes place pretty soon. And I think we'll hear something before Halloween on the situation. So we will be staying up with this story, and you're going to hear a lot about this story until Jimmy Hoffa's recovered. So whether it be, the authorities or just a court order, uh, basically that's all Michael Yarborough and his team needs is just a court order, and they could go in there and do what they got to do. Just to put an end to this mystery, you know. So hopefully, with everybody working together and everybody pulling for this, hopefully it'd be a good outcome at the end, and it'd be the end of the mystery of Jimmy Hoffa. I just find it kind of bad that a lot of people over the years has mentioned different stories and different scenarios about the Jimmy Hoffa disappearance, and none of it came true. None of it's panned out, and is a lot of it. There's a lot of it being just people want to be a part of the story, and then there's a lot of it that people just wanting to railroad the authorities to look in a different area and keep them away from the main site. So that's two things that we at Detroit's Darkest Times, that's what you know, what we see going on. And, but we feel like by Halloween, we will have more information about it and we can report it and things like that, you know. And I also want to speak on something because it's don't have nothing to do with the Jimmy Hoffa story, but it's got something to do with the downtown Detroit River situation. And it's where I think it was on the news I seen, and this is some years back, I seen where these guys killed this dude in Detroit. And then what they did is they tied a rope around the dude, and it's been some years back, so I'm trying to remember exactly what it was saying on the news. But anyways, they had killed this dude, they threw him in the Detroit River, and then this girl knew about it. I don't know if she was a girlfriend of the guys or just a hang around of the people who killed the guy or whatever, but she ended up taking the authorities to where the body was. it was in the river, but I don't recall. I don't recall if they put a rope around him and just threw him, on the edge of the river right there, and he was just tied off to something, or if he was had his feet in 2 5-gallon buckets, had concrete on it, and they just tossed him in the river like that. It's one of the two. I'm not certain on it, but because it's been some years back, but that was a story I had seen on the news years back, and I thought that was crazy. But uh, that girl, I think it was a girl. It might have been a girlfriend of theirs or something. And she knew something about it, and she took the authorities there, and they actually recovered. You know, I don't know if it was actually a body or if it was a skeleton or what the situation was, but they actually recovered a body. And I thought that was crazy, but there's no telling over many, many years in Detroit City with all the homicides and all that was went on over the years. There's no telling what's in the Detroit River, to be honest with you. You know. But that was just something I wanted to speak on because I had seen it on the news some years back and it tripped me out. But, luckily for that person's family, that girl had came forward. And I don't know if this chick got in trouble and just was using this to get out of trouble, or if it was just bothering her and she just wanted to get it off her chest or whatever. I don't know the whole backstory behind it, but I do know I seen it on the news, and it was a crazy story. And you probably can look that up. You could probably Google that. Uh, I'm not for sure what year it was, but I know it was quite a few years back when this happened. And then you could probably get the whole story on it. But I was just thinking about that when I was talking about this situation down at the Detroit River. But back to the story. Uh, Hopefully, Michael Yarborough can get the right backing that he needs because he's really wanting to, put an end to this mystery. And a lot of people are just, want to put all this behind them too over many, many years. A lot of people's just been, wondering what happened. And then a lot of people's, had different theories about what happened. And then some people already knew that he was at the Renaissance, you know. So hopefully, as time progresses, I do believe by Halloween we should have an update on the story and it's making progress. But I just wanted to touch on it today and to keep the story alive and going, and hopefully they can get something done about it. That being said, subscribe to the channel, hit the like and the notification bell, and also tell a friend to tell a friend, share the audio, and we appreciate everybody that listens in on the stories, and stay with us, more to come. And there's another one coming later on today. So that being said, peace out.